Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Video games, video games, video games. So many issues surrounding video games. So many interesting debates about them. So many useless, nonsensical, silly ones. But in the end, when it comes to video games, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of finite issues that need to be addressed. Some that need to be solved, some that may never be solved. One thing's for sure, we're never going to run out of stuff to talk about when it comes to this hobby. With the release of recent video games over the past few months, hell, even the past year, 2014 leading into 2015, a big topic of debate has been stirring and brewing up, and that's the quality and quantity in a video game, or more precisely, the balance of quality and quantity. The balance of the quantity of the content versus the quality of the content. With games like Destiny, Evolve, The Order 1886, and many other games that I can't think right off the top of my head, the debate has started to arise between people about what is more important in a video game. How much content is in the game, or how good or how well made that content in the game actually is. Because, like it or not, video games and video game developers, they have to make sacrifices. They don't have an unlimited budget. Corners need to be cut. Certain aspects of a game can't be developed as much as another one. For instance, if you look at a linear, tightly focused, first-person shooter, such as a Call of Duty game, for example, and then look at an open-world game, like say Grand Theft Auto. The Call of Duty games arguably have better graphics than the Grand Theft Auto games. They have better textures, better lighting, and a lot more varied and original elements. Then if you look at something like, say, Grand Theft Auto, you'll notice that the texture quality is lower than that. It's not really that realistic. Not a lot of detail, kind of blurry. Or muddy, I should say. You'll notice sometimes that lighting and shadows don't always reflect properly with the environment. And you'll probably have more bugs and glitches. Because while you see the Call of Duty games are games of quality, the Grand Theft Auto games are games of quantity. Call of Duty may not have hours upon hours upon hours of content, but what content is there is quality, well-made, and noticeably stable. Then look at Grand Theft Auto. That is a game with a ton of quantity. There is a ton of content in that game. There is so much to do, so much to see. You will get dozens and dozens of hours worth of entertainment value, but you'll notice that the quality is not as refined as you would like it to be. Textures are muddy. There's bugs and glitches in the world that you wouldn't find in a more focused linear game. And you'll start to notice that a lot of things are pretty copy-paste in terms of textures and items and models, that sort of thing. Do you guys see where I'm coming from? How some video games take one path and another game takes another? I just use Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto as examples. I'm not calling either of the games masterpieces, and I'm not calling either of the games bad games. I'm just using them as examples. But my point is, this is what people are debating about. What is more important when it comes to a video game? While of course we're completely open to having both. There's nothing wrong with a tight, linear, first-person shooter that's focused and refined and a quality product. And there's nothing wrong with an open-world game with a ton of content in it, even though it may not be as refined as other games. There's nothing wrong with either. But when it comes to console players, not so much PC players, because we get a ton of sales, and price drops, and cheap special offers, I'm just saying PC, like, you'll save more money in terms of buying games at launch. But when it comes to console players, they usually have to fork out that $60. So gamers, consumers, consult with themselves and argue with others as to what is more important. What is worth spending your hard-earned money on? The more focused, quality game that may only give you like maybe 10 hours of content, more or less, or a game with a ton of quantity in terms of content to it, but lacking in quality in certain aspects that you wouldn't find in a more tightly focused, shorter quality game. So, certain gamers, certain consumers are taking sides. They will only buy quality games, or they will only buy quantity games, games with a ton of quantity to them. With quantity seemingly being the game type that is winning out so far, and that people are demanding. But then the other interesting debate comes up that if we keep asking developers and publishers for more and more content, making their games bigger and bigger, more worth our money, they're not able to focus on perfecting things. They're so busy just adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff and making sure there's enough content there to make it worth your while, that the content in there may not be quality enough. So you may have hours upon hours upon hours of content, but you may not enjoy it all. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some video games that they find a balance between the quality and the quantity. Games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Some more specific titles like Alien Isolation, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, the Castlevania Lords of Shadow series, that's a good one, and the game you have been watching gameplay of throughout this entire video, Dying Light. Dying Light, I think, is an excellent example of the balance of quantity and quality. There's a vast amount of quests, 2 large open-world maps with a ton of details, nooks and crannies to explore, Easter eggs. Dying Light has some great Easter eggs, pretty good animations, amazing graphics. Especially for an open-world game, I'm surprised they didn't cut corners. Maybe they did here and there. But overall, I think Dying Light is a good example of a video game of this current generation that has found a healthy balance between quantity and quality. Now, while some gamers may argue for quantity over quality, or vice versa, I'm in the middle. I want more games like Dying Light, like Mass Effect, like Dragon Age, like Shadow of Mordor, like so many other games that have a healthy balance of the two. And honestly, I'm not on the fence about one or the other. I will gladly play a game that focuses on quality, and I will gladly play a game that focuses on quantity. I'm not going to debate with myself and make this whole argument up over which games to spend my money on. I'll spend my money on whatever I want to, thank you very much. Video games and consumers and players alike shouldn't have to conform to one side or another of a debate. Believe it or not, this is a democracy and everybody has a say. This whole debate against quality and quantity is the exact same as the ridiculous, useless console war going on. While both sides have good points, neither one is ever going to win. Because these are wars, these are debates with no right answer. In the end, it all comes down to you and your personal preference. You do what you want. Just don't go around telling other people that it has to be your way or the highway, because that's kind of egotistical and pretentious, don't you think? So yeah, that's my take on this whole debate going on. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? If you did agree with me, maybe hit that like button. If you liked the gameplay, if you liked anything about the video, if you like the video at all, please hit that like button. Hitting the like button helps me, helps you, helps everybody involved with the video. If you hit that like button, please leave a comment. Are you on the side of people who want quantity over quality games, or vice versa? What is your say on the debate? What do you think of my opinion? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I love getting comments. I don't get enough comments. Please leave a comment. This has been the Gamertron. This has been a video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you'll leave a comment. And if you just stumbled across this video, if you're a first-time watcher, I'm the Gamertron. I love video games. I love talking about video games. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing and supporting me. So, I'll see you guys later.